crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
Welcome in to Discover Crypto in the cataclysm of a lifetime, folks. Trump is speaking in just a few minutes. We have a lot of information to cover. A lot of stuff has happened over the course of the last 24 hours between the United States, Russia, and China that has escalated to a point where they have to make a decision. Is it peace or war? We're going to be taking a look at this. The markets are absolutely losing their butthole on the crypto side. Gold going to new all-time highs, kind of a maddening situation. Let me know in the chat, what do you think? Are we going higher from here or lower down below to the depths to find the frickin' support, if there is any? Welcome to the show, everybody. Who we got here? Saffron, Crypto Rob, Poor Now, formerly Pre-Rich. Oh, sorry about that name change there, buddy. We got Huck saying 92K gap incoming. BC Alden, good morning. How low we going? Long Bitcoin at 102. You know what? I'm taking a stab at it, right? As we open the show here, I'm taking a stab at a little long. I'm going to see if we can hold on to it. Stop loss is right under basically $107,493. We are on a knife's edge, though, folks. There is no denying this. Now, let's get into all the stories. Make sure that you are following me at Druth Crypto, and also subscribe to Discover Crypto's YouTube account and the Blockchain Basement, BitLab Academy, and DeFi Crypto Airdrops brother channels. I want to check out the chat, see what you guys think. If we're going higher or lower from here, I got a lot of mixed signals from some of the best traders on the planet right now. Max confusion, max pain, and this is the Thunderdome. Let's see. The Titanic is sinking. Stop preaching hopium. Danny Diamond, I don't know if you're new here or not. You might be new. Okay, I'm going to give you a pass. You might be new, but good to see you, Danny. Granny's Garden, the Blockchain Basement chat is absolutely lighting it up right now. Snowboarder, Crypto Surge, Papa Gooth, all the peeps, Stacy Lewis, good to see you here. Now, let's get into it, okay? Let's get into the stuff. In general, altcoins are sucking right now. They suck very badly, but what is gaining is gold, okay? Gold, $4,300 an ounce. And this, a maddening signal, but honestly recodifying. I need to make sure to be in hard goods over the next 10 to 20 years. A collapse up is something I've been warning about for a long time. Also, the edge of hyperinflation building out. And you know what? How far we've fallen as a country, where we have tariffs on imports to the United States, doubling, tripling costs, but also we still have the Internal Revenue Service. So guess what? You get to pay more for those products, and then they're not going to give you a break on your taxes either. We have an external and an internal revenue service. Feels good, right? This is why we have to fight so hard to take care of our family. I'm a little worked up, but you know what? I'm going to get some relaxation after the show. Going to go to the chiropractor. I'm pretty excited about it. So, and yes, Danny, we got the Trump speaking in 1 hour. It's coming right up. Let's get into the action here. Where does liquidity sit? So let's pull up Bitcoin. Let's see the ultimate market washers, Binance, and see where they plan to send us into hell at. So a little bit of a pocket. A lot of liquidity has been wiped, though, so far already. Pretty dire looking chart here. We actually might want to bring up the Bitcoin chart on TradingView as well. Yeah, this is looking ugly as all get out. And it's insane because you're getting the massive pullback. You see the VWAP return, but the signal is just washed away in the course of 15, 20 minutes. It's absolute chaos on the markets right now. A lot of people are saying that the cycle top is in, and then others are saying this is a healthy kind of washing of liquidity and a recentering for the markets to make that next move up. The battle of minds is across the internet. Economists, PhDs, nobody knows what the hell's going on. I'm here to tell you that this is a collapse up. They're going to make inflation worse. It doesn't matter who we vote for. It's all the wings of the same bird. The only thing that we can do is end the Fed and buy Bitcoin and hold it ourselves. And actually, I have a video coming out I think it's coming out tonight on Discover Crypto about this relationship with the US government, gold, and now what they see as the new belle of the ball, Bitcoin, and what that actually could mean for some pretty scary implications. Now, let's see here. He's gonna, this would be, yeah, all right, I like that. Shout out to that. I mean, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. And declaring war on Antifa, that's absolutely huge. Does this mean I have to live on spam and ramen noodles again? Absolutely, Patton McCrotch. Absolutely. Back to the ramen, just as formerly known as pre-rich, whereas a poor now, formerly pre-rich. You know, and I had to look at something. So I had to look at something. This is actually kind of a fun little data point here. Kelly was on the show with this thing called like market profits. It's a very new thing. I'm not buying the token or anything like that. Nothing like that. But I found this quite intriguing. So it looked at my calls over the past year, anything that I've talked about on X, and then it aggregates the losses and gains, right? I'm only down on the year to date by like 25%. Cumulative return is up 22%. And you know what ruined it? Talking about Cardano. Oh, man. Kept it pretty based and focused as far as what I'm outwardly, backing the truck up on. Cardano is the one that is pulling my cred down. This is all on the shoulders of DZ and BJ. Much love to him. Cardano will have its day. I don't think that the market's over, guys. But over the course of the next few months, we really, really, really need to take profits aggressively. That's not financial advice. It's me and the multiple personalities inside of my brain, because I'm a Gemini and I have multiple different personalities. All of us are going to be looking to take profits on the escape pump here. And I do think it's coming. Now, all the news about Trump is circulating all over the internet right now. Let's take a look at this. So U.S. President Trump on the Ukrainians, saying that they want to go offensive. He's going to make a determination on that, but they would like to go offensive, and we'll have to make that determination. What Trump said is actually very, very bold. Trump is essentially admitting two things: that the Americans are in control, essentially, of Ukrainian movements, and that the Americans, it's up to them if they want to support further movement into the territory proper of Russia. Now, this is a massive, massive escalatory framework to be rolling out from the White House. There's Kash Patel, nervous as all get out behind him. Shout out to you. Give me some, I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. I was going to say something ruthless. Okay, I was going to say something ruthless. And you know what? I got something real down and dirty I'll share with you guys. If I get enough likes here, what are we at? Where are the likes at? Let's see here. We got 430 viewing. Shout out to you. And let's see what the likes are only at 50. No. All right. I'm not sharing the craziness until we get to 200 likes on the show while we're live. Now, there's more information coming out about Ukraine and Russia. The U.S. may supply limited Tomahawk batches to Ukraine. Estimated about 20 to 50 of these, maybe more, with a 2,500 kilometer range, 450 kilogram warhead. Land use needed special launchers, and the U.S. contractors would likely deploy and operate these systems and vet the targeting. Oh, so we are going there if this does move forward. Good to know. Let's just clarify some things, because there's so much smoke in front of the mainstream media. They try to paint this picture that we're not involved. We're trying to be peaceful on both sides. Make no mistake, the intelligence services, the satellite systems, the geolocation, the war, battlefield mapping, absolutely there is involvement there. Dog to the moon, shout out to that. I actually got a post from Leonidas, Muhammad, you might like. All right, let's get into more information about this Trump debacle as we're building up to the live stream from the Oval Office. Trump issued a statement about his lengthy phone call with President Putin. He got on the phone with President Putin today, and for the love of God, can someone take Trump's phone out of his hand when he is actively in a World War III negotiation? Because these are the things that I'm left with, causing absolute chaos. There's so much news. Okay, here it is. So I'm speaking to President Putin now. This is Trump. The conversation's ongoing, a lengthy one, and I report its contents, as will President Putin at its conclusion. Thank you for the attention to this matter. Can we please just let you talk to the leader of the other side of this massive war going on and then report to us how it goes afterwards? I don't understand why he's got to pop his head into the markets while he's literally on the phone. Absolutely crazy. But we are going to be looking out for what he says out of the Oval Office today in the expansion of this. And also, Trump outwardly admitted yesterday that we are indeed in a trade war. Another thing that I said far beyond these mainstream pundits admitting, far beyond Trump admitting to you. I've literally said this to you directly to your face. And it is my time to dance, because you know what? Everyone's got this normalcy bias that this conflict can't expand. I am not that guy. I am not here saying that. Frank in studio because of ego. And why do you think that Trump is coming out with this DDoS attack on our attention span right now? I like some of the comments here. Let me know why Trump is doing this in your opinion. We got Frank in studio say because of his ego. Discover Crypto, what up, CWW? Good to see you, man. Good to see you here. This is not a good look. This is not a good look to be admitting that we are in an outward trade war with the largest producer of goods on the planet, right? But right after this, just the back and forth, China right afterwards said that it plans to actually work with the United States on finding a solution to the trade debacle that we're in right now. And make no mistake, there is a debacle. I think a lot of this boils down to raw materials and resources. We like to leave our own resources alone here in America and let other countries use their raw materials and resources to produce the products that we buy, right? That's how things have been. Now, if we do see things come to a lock, a stop, essentially we're going to have to tap our resources here in America. Going to be quite painful if that is indeed the case. For about 5 years, it's estimated, to get industrial refineries up to speed, manufacturing locations. There is a lot of materials that need to go into catching up with the output that China, even getting close to what China puts out. And Americans are heavy consumers. IMF to suggest buying Bitcoin. What is that? And the main thing that really bothers me about the political scenario right now is that we have both an external revenue service and an internal revenue service. While the average American, the families, are being pushed to their absolute limits, to their brinks, to their breaking points, and yet we are being double taxed, not just on the goods that are coming into the Americas that are increasing in their prices, but also internal revenue service while a government shutdown is going on and government services are not available. But don't worry, you're going to pay taxes for this government shutdown, and the federal workers, once they figure out their little, scheme between the Democrats and Republicans on how much money, how many trillions of dollars are going to print, then they're going to back pay those federal resources for their time at home. Oh, those poor little babies. Now, if it didn't get worse, it did. Trump is also planning to send an additional $20 billion in a support package to Argentina. Why in the world is this happening? This is Washington's Ghost, an excellent account to follow. I can't afford a house, but okay. Is it time to isolate America's involvement across the world? Let me know in the chat if you think that we should actually step back from trying to be the world bank, the world police, and this $20 billion payment is actually additional to $20 billion that they paid previously, coming out to about $40 billion, not to mention the $300 to $400 billion that we've dumped into making sure the Ukrainian war kickstarted and continued. Let me know. One in the chat, if we should take a cool step back and focus on this country internally, or two, if you think that we have the bandwidth to control all of these nations from our perch. I literally want to know what you truly believe. Okay, I really want to know, because for me, personally, I am becoming very isolationist when it comes to politics. I think that America should focus solely on its own nation. We have veterans that are homeless. We have people that are discouraged. We have people that have absolutely been pushed to their brink within this country. Inflation is, they celebrate that it's only 4% year over year, and it's only gotten so bad that you've only lost 10% of your dollar in the last year, right? And meanwhile, we're printing and sending all this money across the planet. This makes no sense to me. It makes zero sense to me, other than nefarious actions being taken to ensure the enslavement and debasement of the average American citizen. That's my take on it. We got a lot of ones, a couple twos here. Um, America first. Yeah, I mean, this is the maddening thing, Pablo. And it's like, I voted for Trump, but I can still call out the fallacies here. And, I was trying to imagine a life with Kamala leading as the president. I think we're actually better set in terms of this war. I think China and Russia are going to be able to communicate and negotiate better with Trump than they would have been able to do with Kamala Harris. That's just my take, but I digress. Now, Trump's Pentagon has also confiscated virtually every major media organization's press pass for refusing to sign onto the new Department of War media policy. Today, the Defense Department confiscated the badges of Pentagon reporters from virtually every single major media organization in America. It did it because reporters would not sign on to a new media policy over its implicit threat of criminalizing national security and the reporting of it, exposing those who sign it to potential prosecution. Now, my main question to begin with was, why the hell is the press hearing from the Pentagon and trying to get inside info? That's just me. Military movements right now, military decisions right now should not be telegraphed to America's enemies. Personally, that's how I see it. Fluffy the Sheep, what is up, baby? Deontay Elroy, let's effing go, man. Peter John. This isn't even a crash out. This is tame. Okay, right now, what you're hearing from me is tame. On my morning meeting with Tim, Kelly, and Deezy, that's where, if I were to say what I actually know needs to happen in this country, they'll just take me off air, okay? You know what I know. You know what I'm thinking. Let's move on, okay? The 2025 Crypto Bro Starter Pack, an empty apartment with a terrible paint job, some beef ravioli, and one of these crappy Casio watches and a bus pass. It's a little bit grim. It's a little bit grim out there, right? Yeah, this is tame. This is tame. 1000% rebel. And I like your name, by the way, if you get my drift. Now, these memes are just killing me this morning. Are you winning, son? I'm down 60%, Dad. He's breaking a lot of eggs to make a couple omelets. When Trump came out with this tariff stuff initially, it was an idea. Let me get this thing off my hip. It's kind of digging into my hip. Okay. He was breaking a couple eggs to make an omelet. I see at least 324 packs of eggs broken all over the ground. Trust in the US dollar is out the window, and gold is probably going to hit $5,000 in a very short amount of time. Major banks are now admitting stagflation. Again, another thing I warned you about literally 2 years ago that's come true now that all these geniuses finally feel like admitting. And I'm not going to be shy about dancing on the hill, because every single PhD economist that I got on the air with last year said I was dead wrong. And they're awfully quiet now, aren't they? So now, go here. Maybe BlackRock clients know something ugly's coming. We have BlackRock clients, people that invested in the Bitcoin holdings through BlackRock, dumping Bitcoin hard. There was nearly $1 billion worth of Bitcoin sold through just IBIT yesterday. Might be a signal of some pain to come. And God, these charts look rolloverish as all get out here. You can tell the pain is real here. Now, looking at this, and obviously we're going to have Kelly with his Brostrology here in just a few moments, that I'm very excited to hear. Actually, we're going to get some deep alpha. We are right on this level here. We are right on this level, ladies and gentlemen. That is a make or break moment for Bitcoin, right? That is a make or break moment for Bitcoin. Pretty sketchy though. Pretty sketchy. So stop losses are my friend in this environment, right? I'm figuring if we lose this, it's probably a lot more pain in store for us. So that being said, I'm being careful trading. Stop losses are my friend in this environment, especially when you see massive, massive moves like this happening. Now, this is an interesting note from Garrett Bullish. The stock market indices are quite weak right now, regardless of the extreme all-time high visual representation showing a risk-off structure. Defensive assets are leading: gold, silver, palladium, right? Among tech stocks, only Google storage-related ones are up. Even with positive news from Taiwan Semiconductor, the stock continues to fall. The jitters are all over the markets. It's not just crypto. You have, yes, Nvidia doing well and the majors within AI doing well, but jitters are all over the place. And I want your guys' Bitcoin price prediction through this chaos. I actually have something kind of cool. Discover Crypto, we have an L Bank partnership, and they are doing something where it's a Bitcoin profit challenge, where you actually go here, predict the Bitcoin future price, and share within $1,000 prize pool. You got 5 days to make your registration happen. Kind of a fun way, if you think the top's in and you're sure of yourself, you hop in there and see if you are correct. I'll drop the link down here in the chat for you guys in case you want to get in on that. I know everyone's a genius here in crypto and we all know everything. So looking forward to those answers. Now, when people say gold rally has to stop at some point, it can't keep running like this. Here's the gold rally. There is no stop. David Goggins does not know stop when it comes to it. In gold, this is absolutely crazy. We broke $4,250 earlier this morning. We literally kept going. I believe gold made it all the way to $4,300. Let's go check out the price of gold right now. This visualization is the loss of trust in fiat currency across the planet. Central banks are lining their pockets with a hard asset. They are not trusting fiat currency is really on its dying whims. So major structural changes are likely to come to what we know as fiat currency. And this is where the exciting part about the disruptive technology of Bitcoin comes into play. Now, it can be argued that Bretton Woods, after World War II, America being the winner, was able to choose to be the world superpower, the world reserve currency. I'm actually of the opinion that World War III is currently what we're in. And 20 years from now, 30 years from now, in history books, this will be described as World War III, in my humble opinion. With that being said, I think Bretton Woods 2.0 is coming right around the corner, folks. I really, really do. I think that this signal of the loss of trust in fiat central banks battening down the hatches is a very dire signal for fiat currency and having a savings in that. This is why I have to act so aggressively on the investing side to make sure that my family is taken care of in this hyperinflationary bubble. This is absolutely ridiculous. Waking up to for anyone that doesn't know, gold is like a $29 trillion market cap. For it to move, like I just showed you, we're talking about trillions of dollars coming in. Absolutely insane. And it's probably going to go to $5,000. I can't remember who it was, like Bank of America. They came out like, it's going to $5,000. You would have known this a long time ago if you followed the show all the way through this process, right? Now, talk about the government shutdown. Do I need an energy drink? Do you guys think I should drink an energy drink? The government shutdown is impacting American spending plans as well. 17% of Americans are delaying major purchases like homes or cars due to this shutdown. 7% have canceled major plans entirely, according to a Redfin survey, and many are canceling or delaying large purchases because they are federal government employees or contractors. Meanwhile, over 40% of Americans are delaying or canceling major purchases due to concerns about job security. And at the same time, 37% of workers are more worried about their job and security than at the start of this year. Is your life on standstill? Are you waiting to see things get better before making any major financial decisions? I want to know in the chat, are you holding off or are you all in? All right, holding off or all in down in the chat. Let me know how you're handling this situation. Really, like, my crypto experience has been kind of born out of the flu season crash, YOLOing my life savings into crypto during that crash. It changed my life for a very, very, very substantial way. So I've learned to kind of just lean into the pain, lean into the uncertainty and the danger. But, it's just how I operate. I'm curious how you guys are handling this macroeconomic shitstorm that we're looking at, because there is no denying that that is exactly what it is. I got all in from tech, all in, too deep in. Slam it. I want to know what you guys are doing. I want to know if, the max fear is there, if people are just kind of holding off. Also, this was crazy. So it was all immigrants that were actually overpaying for houses using taxpayer provided welfare that cooked FHA loan locks to immigrants up to 6%. Immigrants with FHA loan locks made up 6% of the markets. Now with the H-1B visa program done away with, the first full month after the FHA ban, effective in May of 2025, the amount of these H-1B FHA loans has basically dropped to zero. Now, this is a massive, massive market. Single family in America, it's hard to get the exact number, but estimates are between 100 to 120 trillion dollars in this. That means that with a 6% pullback, this is a $6 to $7 trillion haircut to FHA loan locks, and it included a huge amount meant for immigrants that were using your taxpayer dollars. But you pay those taxes while we tariff the rest of the world, and then the products you got to buy are that much more expensive because we won't get our head out of our ass and produce our own products ourselves here in America. It feels good, right? I have issues with this scenario. I take issue. Now, AI debt taking over corporate bond market. AI-related firms are reflecting a record 14% of the investment grade corporate bond index. Huge chunk. The percentage has increased by 2.5 points since 2020, aka flu season, according to the jerks from Berserk Town, JP Morgan. This surpasses the banking sector's weight of 11.5%, which held the largest share historically. And it comes as the AI universe debt has grown $400 billion to a record $1.2 trillion during this period. What could go wrong, right? What could go wrong? And let's just go hop on over to the old S&P 500, right? The SPX says it's known on TradingView. Kind of looks a little toppy. To me, okay? I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news. I think that crypto's going to have a move. But man, this looks sketchy as all get out. And a washout down to previous range moments is a reasonable thing to watch out for me. I've been kind of mapping out a lot of different stocks and companies I want to get in. Exactly. Fluffy the sheep sees what I'm seeing on this. It's a head and shoulders. I mean, there's a head and shoulders on the S&P 500. Beep, beep, beep. You know, so now that we've got this financial centipede of Oracle and Nvidia buying each other's products, counting each other's sales as revenue, and the massive scam of cooking the S&P to the levels that it's at right now, I think there will be a reckoning for this. And some very Andrew Ross Sorkin, I can't play the clip because we'll get clipped off of YouTube for, rights or whatever, but I do think that there is going to be a reckoning for this. I do think. And you know what? Crypto price action could be one thing. Freedom is another thing. And I want to tell you guys about a story of something that's happening in Vietnam that codifies this message. Vietnam erased 86 million unverified bank accounts as the nation surrenders to the globalist reset. The State Bank of Vietnam, SBV, had closed or frozen 86 million bank accounts because the accounts lacked the required biometric authentication, which has made mandatory through a government initiative by forcing every account into biometric rails and erasing inactive or unverified balances. The state is doing two things. It is tightening the digital grip and closing off unofficial channels that could otherwise move around in or out. What you see is the beginning test bed of monetary controls that are going to roll out across the planet. If we do not scream from the rooftops that this is not okay here in America, it's coming for us too. Bitcoin, the vehicle of being able to cold storage your Bitcoin, is a very, very strong power. And it's actually a power that central banks despise. They hate it. They hate when you hold your Bitcoin on a cold storage device, which is why we have a 20% off coupon. Click link in the description. Get your own cold storage device right now. It's like $80 and you can take custody of your own crypto. You don't have to trust the banks. You don't have to trust the exchanges. You can trust yourself with one of the best and easiest to use cold storage devices on the planet. I use it. I love it. It makes for a fantastic cold storage crypto experience. Now, let's get some opinions on this. Is a digital identity requirement for all people a good or bad thing in your opinion? Okay. Because there are arguments that this is a good thing. When we see money laundering claims, things of that nature, they say, oh, if we knew everyone's biometric identity, then no one could get away with literally anything. But me, I am a guy that kind of believes in innocence until proven guilty, right? That is something that we have here in the United States. And we do have some states here in the US that have called a surveillance-based CBDC illegal within the state, which actually extends the timeline that the US could see this. But this is happening across the world. Vietnam, with no problem, erased 86 million bank accounts, okay? Your money is not safe in banks. It is also not your money. I misspoke. Their money that you put in your money, but once you sign on, it's not your money anymore. It's not safe. It is not safe. And this market is leveraged to the gills. Okay. So when the bubble does pop, when the dance comes to a close, there will be a reckoning. There will be bank bail-ins, and they will go into your bank account and take your money to try to fix their problem. Now, let's check it out. Binance caused the liquidations. This is from Leonidas. He's behind the dog coin. It's like a meme coin on Bitcoin. Binance. No, we didn't. Crypto Twitter. Here's proof that you did. Binance, well, we're announcing a $400 million recovery fund. Crypto Twitter, Binance has been extorting billions of dollars via listing fees, though. Binance, no, we didn't. Crypto Twitter, here's proof that you did. Binance, we're announcing that we charge listing fees to protect users, and we'll make sure anyone who breaks the NDA with our listing team gets sued, right? So it's so crazy. The idea that we can't speak out about systemic risks to crypto because we want to, feel good. We want to get noticed by the CCP extension of crypto. So no one's going to say anything. Beta energy. And now we're going to go through this. So Binance has essentially, this is an explanation. I don't need to go into, I already covered this yesterday. CZ came out. He's all happy that Coinbase listed BNB yesterday. They did it so that people could dump your BNB, when they're ready to do so. So there's that. But also, it's listing a third largest market cap crypto should be a no-brainer. Kelly, good morning or afternoon. How the heck are you doing?
These markets are making me thirsty.
You're thirsty?
That's a throwback to Seinfeld. These pretzels are making me thirsty. No, it's just the never ending. Oh, and I know you talked about it because we talked about this pre-show. I was over there on Mario doing something with some other stuff. But can Trump stop participating so actively in social media and just let us know when some things are resolved? Golly.
I think that should be a requirement to take away the phone there. Or you know what? Just maybe make a rule that you don't post while you're actively on the phone with Putin or G or anyone. So we had some responses. So Coinbase listed BNB yesterday, Kelly, and there's kind of a thread going on here. Kraken, been there, done that. But the crazy part about this is Richard Hart put his skeezy little head into the conversation. I kept building and building and building. Would like to wake up to the support of industry peers. Woo, what tiny little violins for you and your billions of dollars and your Rolex watches and all of your crap that you bought with your users' money, right? Tiniest little violin ever for you, Richard. You can also follow me on Twitter to find my late night.
It's always the guy in a tracksuit leaning on. Never mind. What?
Yeah, it's maddening. So Richard Hart needs to be studied a little bit, Kelly. Based on, and this is within the Pulse, the Hexagon realm. I'm not going to deport any more Hexagons. I feel bad for you from what's been done to you, Hexagons. I will say that. I'm calling peace. I'm calling peace with Hexaco. Okay? I'm calling peace with Hexaco. Based on everything I saw Richard Hart say yesterday, it seems that he's already injected over $20 million into Pulse Chain, and whales immediately dumped on his head. He's very upset about getting dumped on and probably won't ever inject SAC funds again. Sounds very sexual and unwarranted. He no longer believes green candles are good marketing And he refuses to stream anymore because he doesn't get good enough views. What a lily-livered little punk. I remember the blockchain basement. We were at like the bottom. It's like 15K Bitcoin, Kelly. And we had like 10 viewers on Twitch or something like that. Still showed up every single day calling the bottom for you guys. Still showed up. You know what I mean?
We lament the markets together when we need to, but also even when I'm frustrated, I look at the landscape of what's being built and everything right now in this market, the lack of the bullish, absolute follow through everybody keeps expecting. I don't chalk that up to the market. It's not going to happen. I chalk it up to the biggest corporate players on earth getting involved, finance getting involved, governments getting involved. Look, we just added, what are we up to, like 350,000 Bitcoin now in the strategic Bitcoin reserve that we took from, this is crazy, that we took or reconfiscated from somebody that's not an American citizen from activity that was happening in Cambodia of pig butchering of people that were all over the globe. But somehow, Scott Melker made a great point this morning. He said, if my grandma loses her ring and the police come, they take the report and then they find out who stole the ring. And then they find the ring. Do they have the authority to just keep the ring because they found it? No, right. They're out there, should be getting stuff back. So while I think it's great the U.S. has all this extra Bitcoin, it just speaks to the skeeviness of how markets and economies and countries work. It's nonsense. And then I look at, I was talking about this the other day, this right here with the whales kind of evaporating in this market in terms of the position sizing. I feel like everything that's happening right now is just orchestrated before the actual move happens. The question is, will you all still be here? Will you still have dry powder, or have you exited because you're so frustrated in this market? Because it's freaking frustrating. God dang it.
Absolutely, man. And this pulse chain thing, I just wanted to talk about it also because, I could go. All right, we got to finish this. So he doesn't want to stream anymore. Hart's not going to stream to the Hexicans, it looks like. And he thinks that knock down doors of other forms of marketing, like sending these weird little iPad, but they're not even like electronic around. Super weird approach. And he wants us to do all the marketing ourselves, and we're all cry fags, right? So that's kind of the general consensus. Eric Wall put out the relationship between Richard Hart and his fans needs to be studied in a lab of some kind. Corey Costa, Kelly, I've had a show with in the past. I want to get Corey Costa on the show. I really do. I want to get Corey Costa on the show, talk to him about what the hell, because Corey is he's like a pulse maxi. He's a hex maxi. He's a believer. And seeing a founder of a major crypto project accost him, start to call people names, it opens a door for people like me to bully you online, right? And then I'm out there doing it, okay? I'm doing the Lord's work, okay? Make bullying great again. Now, talk about some other crypto news. Tron DAO is asking Coinbase when Tron, after the exchange added BNB to its listing roadmap. It is kind of interesting seeing the American side Coinbase, allowing access for BNB, potentially even Tron. Kelly, we got a situation in crypto, it seems, where the Chinese obviously macroeconomically oppose the U.S. The U.S. wants to retain dominance of financial movements, and it's implementing this stablecoin super cycle. Chinese kind of look at that as a threat. Is it possible that the Chinese would just let the whole altcoin market burn, do another liquidity poll from the wonderful lords at Binance once again, and really send it down to stop stablecoins from destabilizing their fiat currency? What say you?
There's so many chess pieces on the board that are all tied back to the fact that the Chinese economy really runs in a major way. It's probably underpinned by the trade that they have with the US. So on the one hand, I hear what you're saying, and I definitely agree that there's some veracity in that concern. But on the other hand, I think they're dancing this tightrope walk of trying to figure out how to maintain at least a good portion of the status quo because of the trade underpinning a good portion of their economy, while also not wanting this opportunity right now, and this is why it's so important, this opportunity with this technology, with crypto, blockchain, AI, stablecoins, it's right now at the forefront of what is going to be the new infrastructure layer of the world. So I think it makes sense that there's a little bit of push and pull for them trying to limit that, but I don't think that train can be stopped. I think there's going to be some casualties along the way, but I don't think undermining the altcoin ecosystem is really going to hurt anybody that's going to really have any impact on slowing down the US's advancement into stablecoin, US dollar stablecoins.
In further context, the attack from that liquidity poll was aimed at Athena, stablecoin on Athena, heavily integrated into Aave. Right.
Yeah, Aave, but then also World Liberty Finance has made some pretty big moves with Athena, also. And
yes,
Aave.
the Trump family, World Liberty Fi. And so it was a systemic attack on not only Athena, Aave, but the Trump kids and Trump himself, in my opinion. You're getting hot takes today. You know, I mean, it is what it is. Okay. And this is me tame. So there you go. Now, it's just such chaos on X. You know, the Binance came out. We are aware of X posts of CJH Tech on October 14th, 2025, that contain allegations against Binance that are false and defamatory, and they're also clearly designed to mislead the community and attack the integrity of Binance listing. Blah, blah, blah. But Victor Bunin, do you really want courts to look into your listing process? They deleted the post. Binance deleted the post right after he put this up. It's so schemy. It is so schemy, so schemy. And this, in terms of altcoins, now that we mentioned it, we got to talk about this. Crypto quant analysts said that stablecoin flows actually showed spot outflows and derivative inflows. So this kind of suggesting that the crypto gains are being largely driven by leverage and not organic demand. Now, leverage can be quite scary. Kelly, there's a lot of people that are looking at these charts wondering, have we just bottomed out, right? I'm looking at the charts wondering, is that the bottom, right? Have we finally found a place where Bitcoin can, you know, find that strength? I want to get your general vibe for where I don't feel like we've lost bull market structure in Bitcoin. What we're losing is excitement because other assets like the certain stocks, gold, silver, they're going parabolic right now. The altcoin graphs that we're looking for on the altcoin sector can be found on Wall Street. So can you kind of give me a rundown on what you see the mechanics of Bitcoin's bull market? Where are we right now? And where do you start to get really, really concerned and just kind of throw your hands up in the air and just buy it when it goes all the way down?
Well, I'm going to show you some TA, but I want to do a disclaimer before we do this. Because none of it matters, guys. None of it matters. None of it matters. I can draw a line on a chart and a tweet will come out and just completely either electrically supercharge it to the upside or completely tank the markets.
Yeah.
But when you look at if you just looked at this section right here, 4-hour chart, nothing about that looks bullish. Or the 8-hour chart. Nothing. This doesn't look like it's about to find a bottom, but if we zoom out just a little bit, let's go to the daily, then you realize on the daily, we're just taking some context here, guys, rather than bias one way or another. If you just look at this on the daily, this just looks like a sideways range that's getting a bit wider. You know, if we're looking at this, we got this major trend line that's supposed to be this oogie boogie, super cool trend line right here. Let me double click on that for, this is that trend line. Previous two tops. We track it out to where we're at right now. And the price action is just swinging above deviation, below deviation, rejection, above deviation, back below rejection. It wouldn't surprise me because the market keeps not learning and throwing in. Of course, we have the liquidity above us. That's on the 3-day chart. Let's go to like the 2-week chart. There's still liquidity that keeps getting added above and below, but there's nothing here. There's nothing really here on this chart. If we come down, let's go to the 12-hour. Can we find something of any sentiment? Well, we see a double bottom here, slightly higher low. So let's look at what that looks like. Well, we do have this descending. That's Aerodrome. I was about to really jack up my thoughts there. We're coming right into this liquidity zone. Previous range high, range high, chop zone, bounce, bounce, bounce. We're right on that precipice. If we lose this, on a line level that does not matter, then what we're going to look for is the next level down right in here. But again, we're just now, today is one day into the second half of October. And so what everybody's waiting on, I think I deleted it. Oh man, I had it primed and ready, everybody. I don't know where it's at, but we're still, oh, you know what? I can come over here 1 second. This is what we're looking for.
I'm afraid of what you're about to show me.
No, guys, no. This is it. This is it. The hunt continues, everybody, for Green October. And it has suggested in the past, when we've looked at previous Octobers, you get a bit of chop in the first 2 weeks. In the second 2 weeks, there has been a trend where that's where you get the explosiveness. And one of the things that would support this thesis, coming back to TA, that does not matter, is the fact that we have the rate cuts that are coming in, supposedly the second half, the end of this month. So it's going to be interesting to watch with the trade war back and forth, with potential conflict reemerging, with fingers hovering over red buttons, while on social media and phone call, with Trump and Putin and what's going on in that
needs to stop. Please stop tweeting as you're in conversation, Trump. Please, absolutely crazy. Find the Green October already, Kelly. DeFi Crypto and Airdrops, great channel. They do all the mechanics, the ins and outs of how to do DeFi, guys. And you know what? DeFi is very powerful in a bear market, so just keep that in mind. So make sure to go follow them. DeFi Crypto and Airdrops. My name's Jeff, and Veteran Crypto. Work hard there. This is Jeff's personal account as well. But go give him some love, okay? Because you know what? When that bear market does grip you by the nads, DeFi is going to be your friend. But you know what? The worst KOL, the least effective KOL of all time in crypto, Chair Atkins, SEC Chair Paul Atkins, says that crypto, digital assets, and tokenization are job one for the SEC, focusing on building a strong framework to attract innovators back to the U.S. This is great, but we also have the Federal Reserve talking with Chainlink, and RWA asset class is growing at a very fast pace. Seeing, though, how exposed these altcoins are to the decisions and the whims of Binance does make me very concerned about putting the world's entire asset class, the entire U.S. economy, on chain. That kind of worries me right now. What is that god-awful chart? What is this?
That's the others. That's all these altcoins. All of us want to pump. It looks like a tea kettle just pouring one out for the homies. Just look at that. Just saying, hey, pour one out for the homies, because we're all losing our minds over here. But I think you highlighted already. Trump's supposed to be speaking this afternoon, right?
Yes, and I have the.
Well, look at this. I don't know if you highlighted this already, but whale last week, short 700 million before Trump tariff tweet, makes 200 million overnight. Whale today, Trump speech incoming, goes long like he knows the script. Is this going to be a front-running signal, looking at these whales on chain that may have some inside information? I don't know. I don't know what to do with that, but I just remember this. None of your technical analysis matters. What's he going to tweet? What's he going to say?
I'm paying attention for the Trump announcement he's coming from the Oval Office. So I'm watching out for this. If you guys have other locations that won't nuke the channel in terms of, getting pinged, because I still have nightmares about that Apple debacle. I'm also watching the White House website as well. So we're watching this for him to go live. He usually is fashionably late. He comes shuffling in, does a little Trump dance.
What time is it supposed to be?
At 3 p.m. At 3 p.m. But usually it takes like 15 minutes, 20 minutes until he actually, starts the speech. So I'm going to be watching out for that. I can tell the chat really wants to map out what the heck is going on with Cardano as well. Kelly, I shared my freaking market profit analysis. It was Cardano. It was just talking and being happy about what Cardano is that drug my performance. I would be green if it wasn't for Cardano, okay, in terms of this market profit crypto influencer analysis button thing. What do you say?
X marks the spot, guys. Look at that giant X on the screen. Now, what we're seeing here is a trend line that doesn't matter, because we got a tweet coming out here in a little bit from Trump. But support line that we got here is on the daily. descending resistance line coming here that all already kind of confirmed, but then we rolled over. We're coming right down into the zone. I think we mapped this out a day or two ago, that we're watching. If this does come down, watching in this region here as kind of in the near term, the last sort of zone of support I'd be watching for near term bullishness. If we come down and bounce in this zone before going, because this is where previous range low was there. This also is a range low there. We had all of this rejection. You see, there's a lot in this price activity area. But if this can hold here, then again, I think everything right now, I want to be more bullish on looking at TA. I want to come over here and look at Morpho and go, this looks super bullish because it came back up and it's tested the zone it's about to blast off. I want to look at Aerodrome that is just testing on support. But then I want to go back to us realizing that we're in a very bizarre time frame right now with geopolitics, with the restructuring of the organization of the world and the respect, or at least the kowtowing of, respecting what Trump is doing, whether you like him or not. We're seeing a shakeup of confidence in investors in the market, which is why we're not seeing the full port, except for in things that are ultra safety things like gold. So I do think it's a little bit of a contention, frustration time in the market. So look at levels, be willing to realize those levels could be hit and run through. I was about to make such an off-color joke. But yeah.
It's just one of those days. It's just one of those days, the off-color jokes. And, I'm sitting here, I'm looking for, I think Trump and the White House are going to put this live stream up as soon as they get ready. But Morpho structurally is something I'm feeling more and more comfortable with holding. It's right behind Aave in terms of being the biggest lending protocol in crypto. And it's a much smaller market cap. I like Morpho still. I still hold Morpho, and I'm still very bullish on Morpho. It's gotten featured by Visa on the latest report for on-chain lending as proof that stablecoin lending is moving from DeFi into real-world finance. There's also something important to note about Morpho is that it has liquidation protection mechanics in it, that it learned a lot from what happened to Celsius and all these big crash outs. So the mechanics and the internal structure of Morpho and how it protects those liquidation events and the users, really, that's what makes me more comfortable. It's not necessarily the short-term price action or anything. Originally, when I saw the project, it had really good internal mechanics. Kelly, we almost got done up on YouTube and YouTube Music, YouTube TV went down last night. Did you catch this story? Major widespread outage. I was sitting there scrolling. Okay, and you know what I was scrolling? I was chiropractor videos where they're like, you know what I mean? And I have a disc that I need to push to the side here. So I sit there going through the algorithm, checking out chiropractor videos, but it was down for a minute. Thankfully, we're live here on YouTube. One in the chat, if we're still live or if my rant got us kicked off of the internet, please let me know. So we already covered the Morpho highlight from Visa. I'm glad you brought up the chart of Morpho, Kelly. I think something that it kind of escapes people is Morpho was very easily able to go to $4 when a hint of bullishness was going on in the markets. It's like $1.90 or something right now. I backed the truck up at 87 cents, and even with this massive crash, I'm still well within profits. Shout out to Aaron, who made the thumbnail, the best thumbnail maker on the planet. Aaron, shout out to you. I
got something too. I'm trying to find it. Somebody right here, BR Taxi said, has sentiment ever been this low in October? So looking at this chart right here, what do we see? You can do it. There we go. Let's go back to October 2021 when the market crashed and then went up to new all-time highs. Actually, much lower than we got here. This dropped into, look at this, into 9. Look at where we're at today. So yes, it's been much worse and it's had much more bullish price action. So we have been here before in Octobers. If we look at that on the chart, here's October 2021 right here. And look at that. We had the sell off into it and then an absolute moonshot, but we dropped on the fear and greed down to 9. So again, we're getting some frustrating price action. Oh my God, selling off into the first 2 weeks. Will it revert? Will it reverse? I don't know. I do know we have that Fed interest rate cut. I think it's going to be very bearish for the market if no cut happens, or if they're very hawkish on things. But it looks like the trend of the Treasury General account of, the backstops that Scott Bessent talked about, floors that they're going to put in. I feel like they're going to run this market hot. I feel like they're really shaking the sentiment out now before they can push it higher.
What is that squiggly line going down to $66,000 doing there, Kelly? Okay. Are you trying to say there's something?
No, you know what it is? When you have this, you forget that you have your drawing tool on and you're trying to move the chart. And then you're like, and then you got, so I just didn't delete
Fair
that.
enough.
Don't worry. I don't think we're going to $66,000.
I got my stop loss and profit on this little take a shot at this this Bitcoin long. I'm looking for that fallen knife. Stop losses in profit. I got 15% on it so far. If things go slightly well, it's going to be an exceptionally good day for me, right? I'm having Kelly, you heard my morning crash out about the double tax, tariff plus taxes. I got on a few different AI systems to see if it would truly aggregate the actual percentage of how much money is taken out of the average American's hands in taxes. It won't even do it, bro. It will not even do it. It
does not calculate.
No, I mean, it won't do it. It's like, I think it's about 17%, 18%. It's such a scam. Now, Kelly, we got to talk about something. I'm still waiting for Trump to go live here. Let's go check the White House and make sure we're not live yet with Trump.
I do want to say, shoot it over to my screen real quick. Make sure you're following Discover Crypto. I don't know what just happened there. Make sure you're following Discover Crypto at Discover Crypto _. And of course, follow me as well if you'd like. It's only one spelling. There's about 100 different fake versions of me. But we're, on Thursdays, we're doing X Spaces now.
Yes.
Guests from around the horn, different, really, smart individuals. It's in conjunction with Bitcoin IRA, but we talk about the market signal, what's going on. So tune into that. We're going to be live at 5:30 p.m. Got Zach Humphreys coming on, Sammy Loyal. For those of you that don't know,
you've been getting some big names, bro. Yeah. You're kind of a big deal.
Randy Hipper. There's going to be a couple other people. Drew, if you'd like to join tonight, I'd love to have you,
bro. You're going to hear me on the space going. I'm going to be getting readjusted, man. This is
that's 5
years in the making.
Cracked. Yeah.
I'm getting cracked tonight, man. And I can feel it. I was doing shoulders and my right shoulder blade is locked up. And you know what? In the chat, do you feel old? Okay, I need to ask this. I'm kind of feeling old at this point. I'm lifting the heavier weights. My fingers hurt more and more. I work very hard on keeping my physical health up to date. And I want to know, do you guys feel young? Do you feel old? I want to know how you guys feel, and I kind of want to get a feeling for how old people that are looking at crypto actually are. I'm about 37 years old. I'll go ahead and dox my own age. I get called a kid on the paintball field, and I get called an old man when I get home, and my kids, they jump all over me, they knock me over, and I'm an old man. What's that?
Well, I feel old because of this. I feel old because this was me. I can't believe I walk around. I broke both my legs, broke my pelvis with these spots, broke my arms. I snap, crackle, and pop. I'll tell you that. But I keep it moving. I do feel old. My body's like an 82-year-old man. My mind is like a 16-year-old heathen. But my brain, I don't know where my brain is, but it's somewhere in another universe.
Well, Kelly, I want to do something real quick because I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. I got the White House website up. I got the White House YouTube up. But also, we already looked at Cardano. I think that another very largely held altcoin is experiencing some major pain right now. That altcoin is XRP. Okay. Fundamentals out the window. Fundamentals be damned. Okay. What do you see for XRP from a brostrologist technical analysis standpoint, in your opinion? I want to get your opinion on that.
Well, what I see is this. Your technical analysis. No, seriously though, pretty big washout. And also I think, I don't want to say an evaporation of narrative, but I think there's some unwinding of some of the hopium that people have believed is true about some of the partnerships and integrations and deployments that XRP was working on. But I do think XRP still going to perform fairly well because the community is super strong. And I do think they're going to have some strong partnerships that do, impact, banking and the messaging layer that's going to happen in with that. But as we're seeing it, we had this, sort of falling channel, kind of falling wedge. It's kind of not really clear, but breakdown. Okay, let's ignore the washout here, but then the bulls brought it right back up. But this did, much like everything, many of the altcoins we're seeing out there, broke out of a range, came back up, rejected at the range, and now is trying to find footing here, meaning trying to find a bit of a bottom right here. And if this can't, then where do we go? Well, this is why I say, if don't know where to look, zoom your chart out a little bit, put some crosshairs on your chart. You do that by clicking right, coming down to settings, come 1, 2, 3, 4 to canvas, crosshair. You can make it super bright if you want. And that way, when you move your mouse, you just look left on the chart. Where is the line hitting some levels? And you see right there where it's at right now is where there's been a lot of price rejections and support. So what do? We scroll down a bit further. Is there another level? That next level is going to be weaker because it's a bunch of bottoms in this case right here. So I'd be
power bottoms or just regular bottoms?
No, just these misshapen bottoms that have not hit the gym lately, not done a lot of walking, little pancake, uneven butt cheeks as Jason Casper calls them. But we're looking for potentially that being the next sort of stop if that were to happen. But we can also take a fib from the low to the high and look at where we're at. We came down, lost the golden pocket. I mean, immensely. We're kind of trying to ride above the 786, but the next, really, there's no real fib in there. So the next target I'm looking at is 206, potentially coming down to 189. That's again, if the market has that bottom fall out from it, like it's looking like the market wants to do. Are we going to get a final washout? And I talked about this before, looking at the fear and greed index. Remember, we talked about the last, look at this, 19. This came down into 27. It came down to 20, came down to 9 as we saw before. Are we going to get several very fearful prints as we've seen before the move? I feel like that's what's going to need to happen, but I don't think we're near a top. We never even broke out of this green bar, great buy opportunity range. When you look over here, when you look at, you're getting payment systems integrating more Bitcoin, you see the whales have kind of softened up for a second.
I want to back up to this one. Can you go back to the whale one? That one's scary to me. I'm sorry. I got to stop you on this. This one, can you kind of just explain? We have a lot of new viewers in here. Shout out. We got 800 on Discover, a couple hundred on Basement. I think a couple hundred on, we are over 6,500 viewers right now. So we got a lot of new eyes on us. Can you kind of dive into what this really means, Kel?
Yeah, big players. So whales, but also, you can see after the Binance Futures fiasco, even if it's not whales, just the size of positions in basically in the market, especially, and this is futures. So larger players there, and you're seeing the average order size plunged 66%, collapsed 66%. You could tell it just by the size of these bubbles. See how these very small dot bubbles? There's a de-risking, or at least the sentiment that has been in the market of this hyperbolic excitement, hyperbolic fear, hyperbolic excitement. It looks very off center right now, of no real super bullishness, but not any real bearishness either. It looks like people have just they skin their knee. They need to sit down before they get back on the tennis court.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I just wanted to stop on that one because this was actually a pretty profound chart you showed me, but please continue. I'm also searching to make sure we don't miss the Trump live speech as well. So I'm going to be sourcing through the internet.
Come into me the second he starts talking, for sure.
Yes.
But the other one is this everything indicator. This, categorizes a ton, aggregates a bunch of different on-chain data. And, if you look at this, you can kind of have two different perspectives. One is you can look at this descending trend line. Maybe that was the top. You can also notice that in the sort of midterm of each cycle run up, we've had a peak here on this everything indicator that reset before actually reaching the high. We had the peak that reset before actually reaching the high. Okay, in this case, again, is this a mid-cycle peak that is resetting before we have this pump up and get a basically showing that we're getting the cycle high? Or is everything, literally everything, different this time? Can it be the case that every indicator that you look at to market cycle top or bottom, none of them are even going to give us indication of a top this time? That's where it's kind of like, it doesn't really make sense. I feel like the extension of this cycle, that like, it's not this parabolic run up like this. It's just slow burn, stair stepping, multi-month, really frustrate the living shit out of everybody in the market, because the corporate players, institutional dollars are what's driving this cycle this so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was a little late on the bleeping. I get it. You know what I mean? I do my best to try to keep us kosher here. And we are still waiting for the fashionably late Trump. So we actually got some time. And I know, did we touch on the total 2 chart as well already? Did we already look at that one? DCA Prey was bringing it up. I've been looking at it since he brought it up.
Well, let's look at it right now.
Okay. Let's check it out.
Your technical analysis. Well, let's look into it. The total 2. Let's go. Let's get to a naked chart, a little happy chart. We want to look at a happy bush here. What am I talking about? I cannot.
Happy bush.
No, total 2.
That's what we need.
There we go. There we go. So let's double click here. Let's go to the weekly. Okay, well, just kind of melting to the upside. Would be interesting here, and I do think I have it up here. That's the total 3. Let's do total 2 minus USDT. Let's just do that one. So, okay, doesn't really do much there, but what we're looking at here is the top of the market. Boom. We've only danced with hitting new all-time highs here. This is everything minus Ethereum, in this case, minus USDT as well. But this is not this is not even breaking to new highs. We got a bit of a channel here, which is ugly as it can be. Not really giving. I mean, we're not getting any follow through. We're not getting any of this motion here at all. And I feel like, again, this goes back to the lack of positive sentiment in the space, the shakeup of geopolitics. If we look at just, for instance, the total. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Total. My mouse clicks on the right things, I promise. There we go. We are at new all-time highs on total, but remember, this is taking into account Bitcoin as well. That's why when you come over here and type in total 2, for all you newcomers, this is everything in the market, just not looking at Bitcoin. So you see, this is $1.47 trillion market for everything outside of Bitcoin. But if you look at it with Bitcoin, this is important, everybody. If you are newer, you need to be understanding this. 3.64. So the majority of the market, the majority of the crypto market, and you see this when you come over here to CoinMarketCap, the majority is the dominant by Bitcoin. We see this massively in terms of how much value in the crypto market is shaped by Bitcoin by itself. So when we're looking at the total chart, in this case, everything there, when we come over here and look at total 3, this is everything without Bitcoin or Ethereum. And we got a big washout here, but this just cannot break through this zone. It's almost like they're just taking advantage of people with these run-ups, these sell-offs, these run-ups and sell-offs. But we've been there before. We've had the run-up, the sell-off, the run-up, the sell-off. When everybody thinks it's dead is when that market moves. The question is going to be, are we going to get that again this time? Or is this time really going to break everybody's heart because it's going to be institutional corporate dollars focused on major Bitcoin or Bitcoin and ETH proxies that are stealing all that capital?
That's the question at hand, man. And I remembered. So I sent you a studio chat with the link to the White House YouTube account. If we can bring that up on your screen, because it's not going to come over to my screen and I won't be able to push it out. So I sent it, and I'll also put it in the main comments here. Michael, don't be heartbroken. See, this is what they want. They want to break people's hearts before anything exciting happens in crypto. I really, really feel that way, because it's like, it's never been so clear and telegraphed that crypto's here to stay. And the best way to shake the leverage, to shake the belief off of the market, just as Maddie B brought up a little bit of time ago, it's happening in live time again. It's happening in live time. Institutions, me and BJ warned about their buffoonery coming in and taking their stake in crypto with BlackRock years ago. We are there. We are in Thunderdome. And yes, you will be able to see if their live actually comes there. And also, I'm going to share within the chat, this White House, within our studio chat here, the White House Live, just to keep an eye on this, Mr. Kelly. But me and BJ really were very bearish about Bitcoin being taken over by BlackRock and government entities. Years ago, yes, it's been generally pumpish for the bags, but the diminishment of expectations and the loss of velocity in alt season, it's almost like a bad word to say at this point, alt season, right? The loss of that velocity is just absolutely insane. BJ is doing
it's been the season of pain. That's what it's been.
Season of pain, right? You know, and there are going to be points, in my opinion, the next step would be to increase hash rate capabilities, increase the cost of the mining systems, consolidate the mining of Bitcoin down to a very few select major corporations. And then the average person, the middle class, the lower class, is once again buried underground as the corporate overlords and government elites continue to reign over the earth. Okay. And this is where the fight for cold custody, this is why I'm so adamant about cold custody. I wear this shirt every day, not just to work. Like, I mean it. Like, I want people to take the power into their own hands, to be their own cold custody. Because, yeah, I came to crypto not for money, but for control, for freedom, right? For freedom of my own money outside of a bank. So, you know, Kelly, I think another one that people are bringing up while I'm making sure that the live White House hasn't already started would be Solana. Solana peaked out for so far $290 right as Trump rolled out his freaking meme coin, right? Been a downhill ride ever since then. So I'm kind of curious if you want to go over. We don't need to give you some new clothes. I have like 20 of these shirts. So my closet is just like pure gray Arculus shirts. I like these shirts. I like these shirts quite a bit. Let's see what you got here for Solana, Kel.
Solana, super simple. Multi-year trend line back to 2021. Rejection, rejection, support, rejection, chop right at. And now really, you could argue this is making the move that was necessary for the price action to come back, flip this previous multi-year resistance to support, and then make a move if we're going to get the move. If this is also, you have to realize we want to be bullish, but if you are just looking at this chart outside the context of where you think the landscape's going because it's so bullish, this doesn't look bullish at all. This looks very just rounded, like it wants to just come down, test somewhere in there before going. Again, I'm not saying this is going to break down, reject, and come down to $62 because my bias doesn't allow me to think that. But if I look at the chart just as it is, this looks like it wants to roll over. So the question is going to be, what's going to be stronger, the landscape and the narrative, or the price action that's telling a story of bulls that have immensely waning buy pressure in this market?
Right. And I'm looking all over for Trump's. We're 15 minutes past 3 p.m. They did announce that he's going to be speaking and making an announcement from the Oval Office today at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not seeing anything on the White House YouTube. I'm not seeing anything on the whitehouse.com yet. He hasn't come out. Kind of maddening. But you know what? There's going to be a lot of uncertainty. We have over 1,000 people joining us on the show on Discover. We got a lot of people looking for what Trump's about to say. Huge shout out to everyone. Absolutely incredible.
You know, we also got I don't know if you hit this already, but we did get a super chat from Leroy Fontaine. And asking about Link. So I'd love if I'm going to take over the screen for a second. Just let's take a look at Link right here. If we look at what's going on with Link, that is not Link. Don't worry, I'm getting to it. I mean, again, this goes back to narrative. My narrative understanding and the landscape understanding kind of screams to me that there's not a possibility that this is not going to have a major breakout soon, especially with SmartCon coming up, which is their conference in New York, which is happening in about a month from now, maybe about 3 weeks from now. But if you look at the patterns, again, this is a multi-year giant symmetrical triangle. You could say it's a bull flag. I don't look at it like that. I look at it like a large consolidation coming into near the apex, past about 75% of the way through this. But as it stands, it's just rejected at a known trend line several times, coming down, testing the known support line as well. So are we going to get a move all the way down here into sub 15, down into 13, 12, 11? I don't know, but for me, Link is my biggest position. I would be a buyer pretty large down here. You have to make that determination, because the other argument could be made, if it does fall out of this, maybe the entire narrative and the speculative value, we all have to remember this, the speculative prices on many of these altcoins may still be overpriced based on the way they're actually integrated. We don't know that. The market's going to price this. My take on this is that any move down for my portfolio, any move down for me is another buy opportunity, because I do see, with the advent of Swift and DTCC and the 24 different banks that they've major financial institutions that they've really struck up incredible partnerships with. My idea of crypto is destroyed, and I'm quitting if Chainlink, the most integrated crypto out there, and it doesn't perform this cycle. I'm like, you know what? I'm going back to selling Beanie Babies.
Well, I mean, think about how long gold bugs knew what was coming, position themselves ahead of the collapse up. And we're sitting here talking about a 4-year time frame. I mean, gold bugs had to wait decades, and they were preparing with conviction all the way leading up to it. And now that the collapse up is here, the money's flowing into gold, in my opinion, first. And I think that a lot of the bleed out and the interest in crypto will come because it is being talked about by the Federal Reserve, which is coming up this month as well, with Chainlink. So there's a lot of things that are actually happening at a Federal Reserve and a government level with crypto. It's a very selective alt coins, process, in my opinion. I don't think all 40 million coins or whatever's out there are going to find their little home in the real world asset space. There's going to be blood, right? So when we did have that flash crash, Chainlink and Bitcoin were literally the only things I was interested in trying to pick up. Fortunately, the tether I had wasn't able to be deployed because the exchange was down, right? So that absolutely was maddening to me. And we are watching out. And Kelly, make sure to watch out for the live stream as it comes. We got a lot of people up on the show here. Boomers bought gold for ripe apples back in the 1970s. Shout out to him, man. I mean, it's been a hell of a move, right? Now gold's on its path to $5,000 an ounce. Absolutely incredible. All those people that were buying Rolexes and believing in, storing their value in gold via bars or watches, they had conviction, they had balls, right? And finally, they're going to the moon. There is no ride to the moon without balls. And I'm not saying that in a scientific manner. Of course, females can make it to the moon as well, but you have to diamond hand the right projects before they're cool, before they're going to the moon, to actually find that insane upside, right? You can sit there and look at the gold chart and just foam at the mouth in jealousy, or you can understand that that represents the literal destruction of trust in fiat currency across the planet, right? So we're going to be watching for this, Kelly. I think the best thing for us to do as we're waiting for the live announcement from Trump, maybe take some requests. Let Kelly know in the chat, what projects are you most freaked out about right now, right? Is because I looked at VeChain this morning, or I think it was Fetch. We were looking at Fetch. It looks essentially dead, right? There's a lot of projects that look like ghost chains at this point right now, but some of those actually might rise from the casket that they find themselves in right now. And the upside is absolutely ridiculous if they do. Got some people mentioning Plume, Arrow. We covered Solana as well. Cover Aster maybe. Crux of Crypto. Shout out to Crux of Crypto. What is up, bro? Thanks for joining us on the show here today. Make sure to share the stream out. Get the alpha out there. We got the deep alpha coming from Kelly on the 2-second time frame, the 3-second time frame. I mean, it's incredible. It's maybe the biggest. So, you know what? I'm going to let you take over. Keep an eye out on the live stream for the White House. I think it's just Trump shuffling in there a little bit slowly, getting his hair done. He's got to get his toupee figured out, and then we're going to check it out. But I love and appreciate you going through this stuff. And now let's get those comments in. Let Kelly know what project is causing you the most pain in this time of uncertainty. I'll hand it to you, Kelly.
Dude, well, let's get to the most important chart of all of them. And it's this one right here, guys. Remember, just remember what is going on in this market. But when we get over here and we look at Aerodrome, I saw that was the first one mentioned. I forget who said it. Yeah, I lost it in the chat. Yeah, Bill Brower says, Aero and Aerodrome is still incredibly positioned. If you think of the context with Coinbase Ventures investing over $100 million on the open market last year, the fact that the base ecosystem has come into such focus. But then beyond that, also looking at this chart right here on the 3-day looks like it did exactly what it was telegraphing. Rising channel, broke down, came down, tested that support, came up. We had another sort of falling trend line right here. This resistance, rejected, and has come down. It's testing right into a level where this bounced, this rejected, this bounced. You're seeing there's a lot of interactivity at this level. So if this area doesn't hold here, then I do think that this is going to come down and test a bit lower. And it's anybody's guess. But if we look at it on a technical level, we can do a Fibonacci from the bottom to the top, see where we're at. Oh, you're telling me we're right at the golden pocket? Bounced right off that golden pocket. Boom, right in here. Hey, Drusif, are you coming back on, or are you bouncing to the chiropractor? All right, awesome. Yeah, but this coming down right into this golden pocket right here, and also the known trend line area where all of this liquidity has both found support and rejection. So nothing's out of context yet. I'm not losing faith in Aerodrome because we had a chart pattern that also, despite the news, suggested we were going to break to the downside. Great, came right to that level. So for me, if we do lose this area, I'm watching for another level down here in the 50 cent region, like 57, 58, 59 cents, which would be the 7-8 cents. Whereas Army Piper calls it the platinum pocket, especially with medium to smaller cap market cap coins very regularly visiting, much like a golden pocket. If this is able to find support here, then I'm watching what happens in the price range when this, kind of comes up and attacks this region here. So, but what does the data say? RSI has been falling. This is on the 3-day chart as well. Falling. It came up, rejected at the 50 line, came down while the money flow also agreed. Okay, let's pull some liquidity out of the market. So you're seeing the market respond to that in the price action, much like the data has shown. But if we get down in the 4-hour time frame, we see on the 4-hour time frame, okay, we tried to get a pump there. Look at this. Money flow came up. Price did nothing, showing a lot of weakness there in the price. RSI on the 4-hour time frame came up to the 50 line, rejected, showing weakness is in control. So we're in a little bit of a hands-off motion right now for bulls to be a little bit more patient. If we lose this level, then it does look like the bears are going to take the wheel for a little bit. We already did Solana. Plume. Let's look at Plume. A lot of people are loving Plume, especially with what they're doing in the RWA space. All right, so let's double click here. Okay, we got a giant wick there, so it's not going to do what we want. There we go. Okay, so we talked about this downtrend resistance level. Tried to take it, lost it. Tried to take it, lost it. I mean, we're kind of riding it, if you ask me, kind of right now. Trying to stay above this trend line, but what good is that if this is just melting to the downside? So let's just be aware of that. Negative money flow on the 4-hour. RSI can look at this. I'm telling you, this 50 line is such an easy hack when you're looking at a time frame. The RSI cannot get above 50, meaning weakness is in control. Lack of strength is in control when you're under this on a time frame. So yeah, I mean, what the most bullish thing I could paint on this in the near term is if this comes up like this and does find support here and not continue down and work its way back up, then you got a bit of a W formation, but you can't count on that at the moment with the sentiment as weak as it is. So I just be a little bit cautious there. Blank Z, best comment of the day. Which coins are causing you pain? All. I know a lot of people are feeling that right now. How many people in here are frustrated? Be honest. Throw a 1 in chat or an angry face or something. If you're frustrated with this market cycle so far, let other people know, because I think everybody, even me, I'm experiencing a little bit of frustration. Some of the things of the timeline that I expected, even if it's not about profits and loss, but the timeline I was expecting is adjusting along the way, and it feels like it never ends. This adjustment factor for the global reshaping of what's happening with the new administration, with trade wars, or with geopolitics and crypto and regulations. It just feels like it never ends. And it's frustrating because we are content creators as well. So we're very tuned into the sentiment of the space and what it means. And it's not only the price action and the TA and what's the TA say was going to happen. And then we get stuff like this with tweets that just completely render your TA for the most part irrelevant in a lot of cases, like we saw just the other day. So I get the frustration because we also see it in the numbers in the engagement on streams. And yeah, we make money based on numbers, people engaging. When you guys hit the like button, when you hit subscribe, when you drop a comment, whether it's positive, negative, happy, sad, it's, you know, it's what helps keep us going also. So when those numbers drop tremendously, it puts a huge squeeze on the way our business operates, because we don't want to take, and we don't, paid shills for random projects and coins and drop. We don't do that nonsense. That's why we have meaningful partners like Bitcoin IRA. We talk about them all the time. In fact, I'm doing a spaces tonight with one of their co-founders. It's not, the whole space isn't about Bitcoin IRA. It's about what's going on in the market, big capital flows, big money players, changes in regulation, you know, what's happening with the market, but meaningful utility. That's why we have partners like this. BitcoinIRA.com, give them a call. You can day trade your altcoins and rotate those profits into Bitcoin and not be hit with those massive short-term holder gain, you know, taxable gains where you're wrecking your future by 20, 30% hits every time. That's why we also have partners like Arculus, cold storage, protect yourself. You know, we want to have meaningful partners and also give you all incredible content with real non-biased looks at the market. And if there is bias, we tell you, hey man, I'm long here, but this chart is looking weak as hell. So as much as I want to say it's going to go up, it's looking weak right now. But then I go back to this chart right here, like I shared. I do feel like we still have a major leg to the upside. I still feel like the fear and greed index, we may have a couple more fearful bouts before that slingshot happens. But when we are in an uptrend, which we still unquestionably are, is you kind of have to really get people to give up before the market makes that next pop move to the upside. Maybe we're in for that. Maybe it's not just one orange dot, you know, especially when everything's on the line for corporations, high net worth individuals, sovereign bodies, stacking in stock, you know, in this market. But let's look at a couple more coins here. We got Eigenlayer as well. We talked about this massive partnerships that they had the other day, you know, a couple weeks ago, and this did break out. It faked out back down, faked out back up, and now ultra mega, fake out to the downside. But the concerning thing with Eigenlayer right here is this, this broke down, came up, and is potentially right now, like many altcoins, rejecting at this previous support that now is flipped to resistance. So we have some barriers overhead. Let me scroll through some of y'all's other ones. Okay, we got XLM. I haven't looked at XLM lately. I'm going to do Aster first just because I saw that one also, and I just scrolled by it. This looks super bearish. Aster. Now, is this going to happen? We talked about this yesterday. I don't necessarily think this is going to break down and come down to this target, but you got to look at it, right? Looks like a giant, what is that target? Giant bear flag. A meltdown into this with a bit of a flag, breaking down out of it, failed move up, coming down. Is this target going to be the next thing that hits? I personally don't think so, but I do think that if we do get a larger bearish move in the market, how do I delete this comment? Do I have to go back to that comment in order to remove it? Okay, cool. Though you have to be aware that that is a possibility. At the same time, we have not yet broken below this sort of range low that we've had right in here. We've tapped on it, tap, tap, tap. So if this can hold, and then we get that follow through the second half of the month, then this area, talking about follow through, like bullish bouncing, getting that October that everybody's wanting right now, then this area really kind of needs to hold if we're going to want that in the near future. What was the one we said? XLM. Let's pull it up. XLM. Quick tip. I do these for you guys sometimes. You don't have to come over here and click or come up here and type in. You can also just click on the chart and then type XLM. Boom. It pulls up your search window immediately. Same thing. If you want to change time frame, I'm on the 4 hour. Click on the chart. We're on the 4 hour. Say I want to go to 8. Type 8, hit H. You can immediately navigate things so much simpler that way. So I see people use TradingView, and it frustrates me to watch them because I'm like, so many people are so inefficient on the way they utilize it. So XL, actually, I have a chart here. There we go. All right, that's a lot of lines. Holy moly. So what are we looking at? So we had already mapped this out. We had the falling wedge. We talked about this day in and day out. These tend to break bullish. Well, it did. Trap people long and then came down as now, is this going to be a fake out? We already had this massive washout like we saw in basically every crypto out there on the washout last week. But are we going to come down to, because we've lost this level. So are we coming down to the next level on the chart, which is kind of regionally, there's 2 levels, but this high and this high right here, kind of down into this 29-cent zone. It feels lower, but it's only two cents down from where we're at right now. It is a bit of a move. If you look at it on a percentage basis, that's another, 5, 7, 8% move to the downside. So that's what I'm seeing. RSI is coming down, angled down sharply. It's lost the 50 line. It's lost that midway point kind of with authority. So it's looking like some bearishness over the next couple of days, unless we get Donald Trump coming out and speaking that just, again, renders everything we're looking at irrelevant. So it looks like Donald Trump is not, I don't know where he's at, but guys, we got a lot of room to grow in this market, both to the upside and the downside. So I'd be a little bit patient right now within the crypto ecosystem. I think that there's more to come, but I could be entirely wrong, especially considering the 4-year cycle. If you're believing that, we might be kind of hitting the end of that rope because we're coming into that time frame. That's not what I want to look at. We're at $107,000 right now. I will say we are still minding this. We are still minding this very large broadening wedge, but it is neutral. It's neither down nor up. So it's kind of compounding the frustration look in the market. We're coming down right into this range, right in here. RSI is losing the 50 line. The money flow is starting to get lower and lower. This could still remain in a bullish formation in terms of this uptrend and have this come all the way down and test the lower bounds of this support that is here, which would kind of look like coming down into that mid-90s range. That then gets further compounded with bearish fear, because then you're starting to test into that 200-day moving average, which we're at right now, potentially down to the 300-day moving average, which would be about that 100K, 98K range on the chart. But that's when you start, asking yourself, is it over? Because as it stands, we're still in a very bullish posture. We're just seeing a lot of weakness as this is rounding out. So I would just say protect yourself right now. I consolidated some of my altcoins further into Link and some other large players, Bitcoin. Can you make a video on the most efficient way to use TradingView? Maybe you have tips and tricks some of us don't know. Yes, I will. I'll update it. In fact, I have one that is out there. I will share it with you right now. Let me see where that's at. That is on the BitLab Academy page. Let me pull that up real quick. BitLab. Oops. It's about a 12-minute video that talks about layouts, talks about all that. And that is right here. Let me go ahead and make sure you're giving me a follow. I'm going to start doing DZ's out next week. So me and Drew are taking over all of the DC streams next week. I'll still be multi-streaming DC and Discover Crypto and BitLab Academy next week. I was planning to start up the midday streams again next week. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, because we're handling all the pre-recorded content and everything as well. So it might be the week after that, but I'm going to get back to my 11:30 a.m. streams here on BitLab Academy, breaking that down. But if you come here to Daily Alpha right here, and you scroll over, it's going to be right in here. I'll actually share the link. It's right here. Here's the link. And this is back in the studio, man. This is back in that the badass BitLab Academy studio we had at the last studio space. But this has a lot of really just breaking down TradingView, all the different tips. Yeah. But I have another one in there too. You know what? I'm just gonna re-record it, but I will share that one with you guys. If you want to go over there, Daily Alpha, just scroll over. I think one right here. Boom, that's it. But I'll update you guys on that for sure. But I do love you guys. I appreciate you. So let me ask you. We've been asking this every day, and people's answers have been changing every day. We got 8,812 people in the room right now. Big love to each and every one of you. Do you think this market's going to end October at where we actually get in October? Do you think this October is going to end green? Do you think October is going to end red? Throw a 1 in chat or type bull in chat, or you could just type green or type red for what you think October is going to end for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Curious to see y'all's thoughts. Do we have, because I have to be running here in a second as well, do we have Trump speaking yet? It's just, oops. Is this live right now? 90 seconds ago. All right. Well, let's see if we can get this up. It looks like he's going to be speaking live here in just a moment. So let's keep this live and see. We'll go about 20 minutes. Sometimes he goes an hour, but let's go about 20 minutes and see what he's got to say here. It doesn't look like it's not on this one yet, but it will be. It will be on here because it does show that it's already live streaming on the YouTube one here. But while we're waiting on that, I'm going to go off that screen. That's the wrong button. While we're waiting on that, let's do a bit more TA. I got it queued up here, so we will be able to see it. I'll pull it up as soon as it's gone. Injective says Warrior. Let's look at Injective. Yeah, Injective's another good one. Again, just melting people's faces to the downside. And look at that. I mean, at this point, we could just clear up the chart, right? Let's do that. Right click on the chart. Come down here. Remove 18 drawings. Now it's clean. Great. Now, what do we want to look at? Do we got any signal here? Boom. We got this descending level of resistance right here. Drew Wider is talking to me right now. What's up, Drew? Yep, I know. I got it queued up. I'm doing some charts until they got the stuff up. I love you too, boo boo. All right, bye bye. Drew's making sure I saw that they got that. I'm going to switch this. Hold on one second. I'm going to switch which screen is sharing there. I'm going to share the YouTube version just so. There we go. I have to do it a certain way. Otherwise the audio doesn't come through. Wait, I just did that wrong again. Stop screen, share screen, Chrome tab. Boom. There we go. All right. So we got that up whenever, if and when they actually start talking. I'm going to put this on playback speed 75. Okay. That's going to be as current as possible. Cool. Righty. All right. Let's look at Injective. I'll be able to see when that comes up. So Injective, descending level of resistance. Okay. We're trying to come in where? Again, you want to see crosshairs so you can see where stuff is. Right click on the chart, come down here to settings, and then come over here to canvas, crosshair. And then you can pick whatever color you want. You can make it super bright if you want. So it's very obvious on the chart. You see that? What I like to do is you move the mouse. You move the mouse down and you see where there's intersections of price action. So as this is falling, you see the dotted line across. You look for where it would potentially find support. Look, this did bounce, boom. And again, we're right there. If I want to do a horizontal line, you could do Option H if you're on Mac or Alt H if you're on PC. Boom, like that. Then you get the line. If you want a trend line, you can do Option T. Nothing happens, but then you click. You have a trend line. Click again. You want a fib, you do Option F. Every time I say option, if you're on PC, it's Alt. So Alt F. And then you move your mouse. You have a fib. You don't have to use this toolbar every single time you do absolutely everything on this market. Where did I lost where White House was? Is it right here? Yeah, here it goes. Okay. It changed the little image in the tab, so I couldn't find it. But Injective. So you got a falling, descending resistance. We have a flat level support of a previous range highs over in this zone. In fact, you can create a bit of a zone with the bottoms as well. Option J or Alt J that does just a horizontal line. And this is the area in which we're paying attention to. In this case, look, RSI fell off a cliff. It lost. It's on the 3-day chart though, right? So we're going to get a little bit more granular in a second. So Option J, you see the price action or the strength fell through the floor there. But there is positive money flow. So people are looking at this saying, okay, there's no strength, but we're trying to take advantage of some positions there. So then let's get down to a little bit more granular. Now look at this. You see all these numbers up here? People always ask, how do you get all the numbers? Well, you see the little drop-down menu. If yours just says day, month, whatever hour, put a star. Look over here, 1 minute. If I take the 1 minute off, look, it disappears. You add a 1 minute, That way you can make it very quickly, so you don't have to come here every single time. In this case, let's do, and again, you could also just click 3H, and that's 3 hours. So 3 hour time frame. Now it's squished. Double click on this. Boom. Puts it onto auto. Now, if you want to move it around, you have to wiggle that. You have to move this a little bit. But then what we're seeing is on the 3 hour, RSI rejected right at the 50 line. So weakness is in control. There's no strength in control. Money flow tried to pop up, came right back into negative. So we're not looking super bullish in the near term. 1 hour also. Look at this. Rejected right at the 50 line. Weakness is in control. There's no real money flow. It's just chopping. So we want to see some bullish divergences. We want to see something which is not yet present. So that's what we're seeing there. Sui, however you want to say it. This looks exactly the same. So everything's looking so similar right now. It looks exactly the same. Breakdown came back up just like Eigenlayer, up to that trend line and breakdown. So we're kind of in a little bit of a patient posture right now. Is this not live anymore? Come on, Trump. We got Campbell in the house. We got we got 9,167. I would not open a leverage trade right now. Yeah, because remember, guys, this is what's going on. This is what's going on in the market as we speak. Okay. You can draw some lines. You can pay attention to what's going on there. But remember, as soon as a different change in posture from Trump comes out regarding we are going to war, we're not. We are going to trade war, we're not. All these things seem to just be completely circumventing any of the real TA that you could be doing in this market. I'm going to turn on, is there any audio there? If you would just ever come on time, that would be much, much appreciated. But it doesn't look like. It looks like they're just trying to, Trump casually waiting for markets to close. Hey, if he's waiting that long, I don't think I can be here that long because I also have to go set up for the Twitter spaces. But let's see. Got Sonnen, Braille, Red One, ICP. Man, you guys really love ICP. Let's kind of come over here. We're going to go back over to this screen here. Got multiple different systems I'm using, so I got to go between those. I should be able to hear when he comes on. Aptos, also look, push up into the zone, rejection. We're just seeing that across the board. Right into that high liquidity area, that zone where all that chop was taking place. We've had for months. Look at that. Just rejected, came down. Hype. What's hype looking like? Look at that. Look at where it bounced. Golden pocket. Ridiculous, right? Previous golden pocket, nonetheless. Delete that. Everything's trying to find its footing. I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm not hating, but just looking at the market structure, I wouldn't be surprised with this support coming all the way up and through, losing, rejection coming down. I wouldn't be surprised if this came down and tested into this region, $30 region. What else we got? Let's go through the list. Crow had that massive move with the DJT, Trump Media integration, World Liberty Finance, and was looking like it was trying to hold up, and it really just the bottom kind of fell out from under it, kind of changed the pattern entirely. Now it just looks like a falling channel with this massive wick to the downside. What does it look like on the 3-day? It looks like it's just doing, despite the news and the difference in news and the change in news, this is just doing what it keeps doing. Similar, I mean, it's just, we're seeing this across the board right now. What else we got in here? Atom. Golly, guys. Atom on one of those exchanges took such a big, I mean, I don't even want to say the word S in the bed. Massive potential bottoming all the way from August last year. Bounce. Lost that level, coming back up into it. I just want to make sure we're not missing them if they do go live. Give me 1 second, everybody. Got TJ on the line. Oh, he's calling me. Let me text him. Live on air, brother. Alrighty. What else we got? Let's highlight some of y'all. Hey, look, my name is Tony Montana, a political refugee from Cuba. He says AVAX. Let's look at AVAX. You know what? AVAX, like me some AVAX. AVAX really situated with their innovation.
Thank you very much.
There we go. All right, we're switching.
This is very exciting, what we're doing. I want to thank everybody for being here, and I want to thank this group of people. They're incredible people.
Can you guys hear?
We just had a call, as you
Why
know,
don't you shout
with
if you can hear?
President Putin. I thought it was a very good call, so we'll talk about it maybe later. But it went very well. We're here today to announce a historic victory for American women, mothers, and families. With the actions I will outline this afternoon, will dramatically slash the cost of IVF and the treatment and many of the most common fertility drugs for countless millions of Americans. Prices are going way down, way down. I want to thank Libby Horn, who is the Senior Vice President of Fertility of EMD Serrano. So I want to thank you. Let's see here. That's what I thought. I thought it was you. Thank you, Libby, very much. And let me also thank the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., whose wife destroyed the people on The View yesterday. I have to say that. I'm not going to ever get into an argument with her. And you've decided, you learned that a long time ago, right? She did a great job, actually. Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick. Thank you, Howard. Secretary of Labor, Lori Chavez de Rima. Thanks, Lori. Howard, thanks. CMS Administrator, Dr. Mehmet Oz, who's a fantastic guy, and he's done really well. FDA Commissioner Marty McCary. Thank you, Marty. Senator Katie Britt, who got me started with this whole thing when she called up to say there was a bad ruling by a judge, right? We got to do something, sir, and we did it very quickly. Probably in 24 hours, it was done. Congressman Richard Hudson, a great guy, and his wife Renee. Richard, hi, Richard. And advocate Samantha Bush, who's a very respected person. For years, American couples struggling with infertility have faced crushing costs in their quest to start a family, and IVF is among the most expensive treatments of all. A single round of IVF in the United States can cost up to $25,000, can actually go a lot higher than that. And many couples require multiple rounds for a successful pregnancy. A major reason for these high prices is the excessive cost of the drugs involved. The number one fertility drug used in IVF is currently 700% more expensive in the United States than the rest of the world. And, you know, we're ending all of that. It's called favored nations, and we're ending it, and we're ending it pretty fast. Nobody thought we'd be able to do it, and we've done it. Drugs are going to come down. Drug prices are coming down 400%, 200%, 600%, numbers that nobody's ever seen before. Great for Medicare, Medicaid, even Social Security. Great for everything, I think, Dr. Oz. So that's something that's, to me, it's very exciting. I'm bugging him and Bobby all the time. How are we doing with that? And we're doing really good, Bobby. Right? It's really going good. Other countries are agreeing to it, because if they don't, we put tariffs on them, and then they agree. So it's amazing. It's amazing how that worked out. But as an example, in London, you'd buy a certain drug for $130, and even less than that, I guess $88 as of a count a month ago. And in New York, you pay $1,300 for the same thing. So now we're going to be paying, instead of $1,300, you'll be paying about $150, and they'll be paying $150 too. We're going to pay the same thing. Favored nations. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And we've been ripped off by the whole world for a long period of time. One of the most popular fertility drug
The volume's
regimens
all the way
costs
up, guys.
over $5,000
Turn
per
your volume
cycle,
up.
as an example. Wow. Largely as a result of these unsustainable prices, 70% of the employers do not offer insurance that covers IVF. Therefore, most couples with fertility challenges are paying these costs entirely out of their own pockets, which is not really possible to do. Oh, look who we have. Look at that. The great Maria Bartiromo. I didn't know. Did you get put into the regular pool pack? That's very good. That's good. Nice to see you. I'm doing an interview with her in a little while. In the Trump administration, we want to make it easier for all couples to have babies, raise children, and start the families they've always dreamed about. That's why today I'm pleased to announce that after extensive negotiations, EMD Serrano, the largest fertility drug manufacturer in the world.
Should I put it
agreed to
on the
provide
30-second
massive
chart to make it look
discounts to all
exciting?
fertility drugs they sell in the United States, including the most popular drug of all, the IVF drug, Gonal-F. So it's Gonal-F. Is that a proper pronunciation?
Here we got the
Close enough,
5-second chart to make it
Gonal-F.
feel like it's actually doing
As
something.
part of this agreement, EMD Serrano will list their fertility drugs online at trumprx.gov at very, very heavily reduced prices, prices that you won't even believe. And ultimately, that's because of the favored nations. In addition, the FDA will be working with the company to expedite review and approval of another common fertility IVF drug, and currently it's selling in Europe. It's Pergoveris. And that's a sound nice name. Pergoveris. Why can't you name them nice, simple names? Nice, easy names. Doesn't matter. If it works, that's all we care about, right? Upon approval, this drug would directly compete against a much more expensive option that currently has a monopoly in the American market, and this will bring down costs very significantly. And the other one's going to have to come down also. Finally, EMD Serrano has agreed that all future drugs and everything that it develops and sells in the United States will be offset at most favored nation prices. I've been after this for a long time. And we started the process in the last administration. And then we had a little thing called COVID that came up. We had to focus on that, did a good job on that too. And they'll bring a significant portion of their drug manufacturing back to the United States. So they're going to bring it largely back into the United States. And that's for a lot of reasons, but primarily because of the election result, November 5th, and maybe most importantly, because of the tariffs, because if they do it here, there are no tariffs. So we're going to be very close. I think by the end of this year, we're going to be very close to $20 trillion in investment. As an example, the Biden administration had less than $1 trillion, substantially less than $1 trillion for 4 years, Maria. Can you imagine? 4 years, less than one. We're going to break $20 trillion of investment, and we're already over 17 trillion, and that's in 8 months. Can you believe that? And he was at less than 1 trillion. And in addition to that, he had open borders, allowing millions of people to pour in. What an administration that was. Worst president in history by far. As a result of these actions, the per cycle cost of drugs used in IVF will fall by an estimated 73% for American consumers. And the numbers are going to actually be very substantially higher as time goes by when it really kicks in for most of, I mean, think of those numbers. You know, I told the story last time because we were with Pfizer, and Pfizer's doing something very similar. But I told them that my first term, I was so proud of myself because I was the first president in 28 years where drug prices went down for the year. And you know what? They went down 1/8 of 1%. But I was so 1/8 of 1%. Now I'm getting them down, Maria, 500, 600, 800%. In some cases, even more than that. It's hard to believe. But I was proud. I said, oh, wow, I'm the first one. 1/8 of 1%. And I was proud of that. Now I realized, and I called a news conference. Some of you were at that news conference, actually. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. We've gone down by 1/8 of 1%. And now we're going down 500, 600, 700, 800%, Richard. So it's really something. For most administrations and all of the people involved in this kind of thing, this action would be a crowning achievement of their agenda for fertility health. But for us, it's really just the beginning. It's just a start. It's one of many things we're doing. Today, we're also taking historic steps to vastly expand access to insurance coverage for fertility care, including IVF, something that, as you know, was not covered. Effective immediately for the first time ever, we will make it legal for companies to offer supplemental insurance plans specifically for fertility. That's never been done before. We're signing it in today with what we sign. Americans will be able to opt in to specialized coverage just as they get vision and dental insurance. They're going to get fertility insurance for the first time. So I don't know, I don't know how well these things are covered. I see the the Democrats like to take credit for all of the things we do. We do the things and they take the credit. But I figure if you do enough of these, eventually people are going to figure it out. The Democrats have done nothing. This will make all fertility care, including IVF, far more affordable and accessible. And by providing coverage at every step of the way, it will reduce the number of people who ultimately need to resort to IVF because couples will be able to identify and address problems early. The result will be healthier pregnancies, healthier babies, and many more beautiful American children. It's a big factor. It's a big deal. I'm asking all employers to make these new fertility benefit options available to their employees immediately. The initiatives I've just announced are the boldest and most significant actions ever taken by any president to bring the miracle of life into more American homes. And I will say, Katie was great. As you know, she's a great senator from Alabama. She's the first one that told me about this. I had not known too much about it, and we worked very rapidly together, didn't we, though? We had everything passed, and Alabama then took care of it and passed it. Within a week, everything was done. Really, it was something. So I want to thank Katie Britt. There's no deeper happiness and joy of raising children, and now millions of Americans struggling with infertility will have a new chance to share the greatest experience of them all. So I'd like to thank all of the people that are here, and I think we'll start with Dr. Oz and Ms. Horn. We'll go through the list and we'll listen. And yesterday I did this, and I stood for about an hour and a half as people spoke. And I said, this time I'm sitting right there, and I'm going to watch you. I stood for an hour and a half like this. I said, you got to be kidding. Here we go. It was one after another, and it was wonderful listening to them. But I said, if I have to do this every day, Bobby, should I stand or sit? Thank you, Bobby. Please, Dr. Oz.
Mr. President, I'm going to jump in here real quick. I want to start by thanking President Trump. Sir, from the very first phone call we ever had, your support was strong. It was steadfast. It was unwavering. And because of you, millions of Americans are going to have a greater opportunity to bring the greatest gift, in my opinion, life into this world. Your support, your administration's support, it's a game changer. All of us here today are aligned. This is a celebration of life. It's a celebration of parents. It's a celebration of families. And it's a celebration for those people who want to one day be parents themselves. I think every parent can attest, and I certainly do myself, that the greatest gift that God has ever given me is the ability to be a mom. We want more people to have that opportunity. We want to make that easier and more affordable. IVF is what makes the difference for so many families that are facing infertility. So you've seen the numbers. It's either 1 in 8 couples, or some people say as much as 1 in 6, are actually experiencing issues with fertility. It's 9% of males and at least 11% of females that are facing these challenges as they work to build their family. The recommendations today that President Trump has set forth are going to expand IVF coverage to nearly 1 million more families, and they're going to drive down cost significantly. Mr. President, this is the most pro-IVF thing that any president in the history of the United States of America has done. And Mr. President, it's your leadership. You are the reason why the Republican Party is now the party of parents. We are the party of families. This is why when Senator Cruz and I worked last year, we got every single Republican senator to sign on and say that they supported nationwide access to IVF. And just for the record, IVF is legal and accessible in all 50 states. And President Trump taking this action today to lower cost, to bring these issues to the forefront, and to enact solutions for people working to start their families. I want you to know it's significant and there's more to come. But this isn't the only thing that you've done to prove that we're the party of parents and we're the party of families. If you look at the working family tax cut, guys, he made sure that hard-working parents were front and center in that legislation. You know, whether it was child tax credits being expanded and made permanent, whether it was Trump accounts that are going to change the game for so many parents, or whether it was childcare. So for decades, we have heard Democrats talk about childcare. President Trump actually took action on the affordability and accessibility of childcare. We know that 1 in 4 families say that they hesitate to have more children because of the cost and because of childcare cost. For the first time, this man actually took steps to change the dynamics for hardworking parents. So of the 3 tax credits that he reformed and the working families tax cuts, 2 of them had not been touched in 2 decades, and 1 of them had not been touched since 1986. So President Reagan was in office the last time anybody did anything about it. But you changed the game on that, and I was proud to lead that effort in the Senate. And so on behalf of moms and dads, on behalf of grandparents and sisters and aunts and uncles and brothers and people who are looking to expand their family, we say thank you. Thank you for all you do to support families in this country and make a healthier environment and an easier one for us to grow the very most important thing. God bless.
So let's set the stage. To put it in perspective, 2 weeks ago, as President Trump alluded, a leading U.S. drug manufacturer came into this room and agreed to do something none of us thought was possible. A most favored nation agreement with numbers, again, inconceivable. Last week, a company from Europe, a global leader in the pharmaceutical sector, came to this office, made the same kind of commitment for most favored nation pricing, again, because the president insisted on it and was persistent in today, something even larger. It's larger because we're now showing that MFN is a tool that can get other initiatives going as well. We are revealing perhaps the most important MFN opportunity at all because it's about procreation. It's about babies. It turns out that MFN is a tool for—
I said, my bad about the mute. Doesn't he look like Jerome Powell's like well-dressed neighbor or cousin or something?
Possible when that occurs. So Secretary Kennedy and I, who's a wonderful leader, talk frequently about family. I think the reason he's a great leader and president as well is because they have large families and they take pride in the joy that it gives us. But many families, as Senator Britt alluded, do not have the ability to have children. But it turns out that it's about 1 in 3 families, a much higher number, that don't have the number of babies they desire. They're under-babied. So this president committed to address that during the campaign, and he is delivering on that today in a way I don't think anyone thought was possible. We are opening the door with MFN pricing and tariffs that support it, Secretary Lutnick, with a new approach to make reproductive medicine more affordable for Americans. Now, I know what you're all thinking, and you're probably right. There are going to be a lot of Trump babies. I think that's probably a good thing. But it turns out the fundamental creative force in society is about making babies. It's about creating. And this country, the one that President Trump is leading so beautifully, has been a country of abundance, not scarcity. To have abundance, you have to address the fact that we had 3.6 million babies last year, which is beautiful. 3.6 million miracles. That's 500,000 less babies than we would ideally have had, even to replace our current population. Building on the success of the last 2 weeks, our team, led by the head of—
Okay, guys, this is he's not talking at all. Overwhelmingly bored with this. Oops, my bad. I'm overwhelmingly bored with this discussion on I mean, it's medical, it's all this. I'm not saying that it's not good. It's just not really what we're focused on here on this channel. I'm sure that they're going to continue talking and just speaking on those things, but I love you guys. Cheryl S says, not funny, Kelly. I don't know what you're talking about, but but hey, man, markets, we saw that. I had the 5-second chart up there for a while, showing a Bitcoin just chopping around a little bit of the expectation. And maybe he's going to talk about the economy, maybe not. In fact, maybe he will in a little bit. But when we look at this market, just in general on the 3-day chart, still overwhelmingly bullish of what we're seeing. We're starting to see weakness up in this area. It's a long sideways, basically accumulation at this point. We're pushing out about 100 days sideways price action. Let's be a little bit cautious here for another bit of a spill to the downside. We talked about the fear and greed index. We talked about where we're at on the reserve risk chart, still showing a good asymmetric buy opportunity. We talked about, as much as we're looking at TA, the fact that we're getting this shaking back and forth of narrative and sentiment and confidence for investors to come into the market because these things keep getting shaken up by Trump tweets. These are not necessarily a bad thing. It's just we got to be a little bit more patient right now as things are basically inching in towards the end of this month. Let me find that little thing so I can drag it sideways. There, where is it at? I can't get it. It doesn't matter. We got the Fed rate cuts that should be coming into the end of this month. So if we don't get some positive price action that goes at least into the run up to the Fed rate cut, I think we're going to end up being a little bit more of a shakeout into early December. And then the question really is going to get very heavy regarding the 4-year cycle, if that's the case or not. So my question to you is, everybody tuned in right now, we got 10,723 people. Big love to each and every one of you. Hit the like button, show some love to the channel. Let the algorithm know, YouTube, X, wherever you're tuned in from, let them know that you are paying attention. It does help the channel immensely. We do appreciate you. We really do. I'd love you to drop a 1-inch, or actually type 4-year. If you believe in the 4-year cycle, comment 4-year right here in the live chat. Comment down below 4-year. If you do believe the 4-year cycle is going to play out the same way, we're going to get a massive drawdown for the majority of all of 2026. That's what you're saying. If you believe in the 4-year cycle, saying you believe in the 4-year cycle doesn't mean you believe we're going to get a little 20, 30, 40% drawdown into the end of this year, and we're going to pump up again next year, because the 4-year cycle would state that we're going to top sometime between now and November, and then we're going to have about a year bear market. So if you think we're going to have a 4-year cycle, type that. If you think we're going to have a 5-year cycle where you think we're going to pump all the way, maybe some drawdowns along the way, but we're going to pump also a good portion of 2026, type that in. If you think it's all changed, it's all Fugazi, type Fugazi in the live chat, comment down below. I'd love to hear what you guys got to say. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. Make sure you tune in later, 5:30 p.m. We've got the Spaces, Twitter Spaces. It's going to be going live on the Discover Crypto account. I'll be hosting that. We got Miss Teen Crypto coming on, Randy Hipper, Sammy Loyal, who's, if you ever follow his YouTube crypto content, he's one of the first crypto YouTubers I ever watched. I think his name is still Four Flies. I'll share this link there in the live chat. Go set your reminders, join. We might bring some people up on stage as well. We also got Zach Humphreys in the mix. I don't think On-Chain College is going to make it. He messaged me. He had something come up, but I'm going to have somebody else swapped into that spot. And of course, Chris Klein, always dropping deep alpha. They're managing $14 billion asset manager. But with that being said, I love you guys. I appreciate you. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Make sure, again, just double check down below if you're subscribed to the channel that you are watching. Hit that like button, show some love. And with that, I'm going to end you with this little readout from one of our channel partners, Arculus, and I hope you all have an absolutely phenomenal day. I'll see you later.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.